to them young boys in the hood with big dreams of being superstars. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't, but you gotta work super hard. To the older man who feels his life is over cause he wasted it standing on corners. One thing I learned about the streets, it's never too late for a come up. I was told before that I couldn't do it. I remember being told by my own peeps not to rap, and singing in my hood wasn't popular, but I got respect for it cause I was a beast. Facts. If you got a dream, you gotta stay committed, you can get it, but you gotta be a beast, you can't slack for a minute. Remember this, if you remember nothing else, you gotta be relentless.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, misery bots of all ages, back again with a new video. This time we are talking about a little thing called, and I mean little thing called, the Steam Machine. Let's go, man. If you like this video, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We're talking about the Steam Machine. I'm gonna get back to some gaming content eventually, but right now I just want to talk about this because a lot of people are talking about the price of the Steam Machine, and looking at it and its specs and what it's capable of. Like, I have my idea, I have my thoughts on what the price of this should be. Now, people out there saying wild numbers. They're talking about $600, $700, $800. I've heard some people say $1,000. My man, if this thing ain't $400, I'd say $400 to $500. It is DOA, bro. DOA, dead on arrival, my guy. Like, Valve shouldn't be charging no more than $500. Honestly speaking, for me, they shouldn't be charging more than $400 for this on some real shit. The Steam Machine seems like it's going to be a good gaming PC, right? I do want to preface that. It seems like it's going to be a good, adequate gaming PC, but the price for the power and everything that they're going to be charging for it, or people think they're going to be charging for it, dude, it can't be more than $400 or $500. Like, honestly, for me, like, I $400, bro. $399. $399. Because when you look at the specs of this joint, when you look at the specs of this Steam Machine, it's about as powerful as a PS5, a base PS5 at that. About as powerful as a base PS5. It's running RDNA 3, so it's not even running RDNA 4. It's running hardware that's already like 3-4 years old. It can't be. Like, you talking about something that's as powerful as a base PS5, bro? The base PS5 came out 5 years ago. Almost 6 years by the time this Steam Machine launches. It'll be almost 6 years that the base PS5 has been out when this Steam Machine launches. Now, the base PS5 launched at $399 for the all-digital version. $399. And this is gonna be launching almost 6 years later for more money than $399. And I get it, like inflation and all that shit, so cool. But that's why I say anywhere between $400 to $500 because of inflation and all of this stuff. But if people are talking $600, $700, $800, for something that would you pay $600, $700, $800 right now for a base PS5? That's the question you really should be asking you. That's the question you really should be asking yourself. Because when you think about the Steam Machine, when you look at the Steam Machine, yes, it has newer hardware than the base PS5, right? I mean, it's launching damn near 6 years later. So yes, it has newer hardware. So you're gonna have access to stuff like better ray tracing. You're gonna have access to stuff like better upscaling, and you're gonna have access to stuff like more power efficiency, better power efficiency. So you're gonna have access to stuff like that, and it's actually smaller than a base PS5, which I do like that. I do like that. I even like the way it looks. It looks actually, I like the way it looks. But in terms of power, like even with all of that, it's going to be running about the same as a PS5. Like, and again, PS5 was $400 at launch. Granted, the PS5 is a little bit more now, but even now, a base PS5 or digital version is like $500 now, if I'm not mistaken. It's $500. But you also got to consider what you're getting with a base PS5. With a base PS5, one, you're getting a controller for that $400 that it launched 6 years ago. You got a controller with that. With this Steam Machine, you're not getting a controller with that. You don't get a controller with that. It's just the Steam machine. You don't get a almost 6 years ago, with a base PS5 that launched at $400, you got a PS5 controller, which separate from that is like $80 or some shit like that. It's really expensive. The Steam machine, they talking about the Steam machine being $600-700 and not even coming with a controller. That's wild. That's crazy. And then you also have to factor in that the base PS5 basically plays all your games. It plays all the games, not even all your games, all the games, with the exception of like Nintendo and Xbox games. And even now, it's starting to play a few Xbox games because I think there has been a few Xbox games that has gone to PlayStation. So for the most part, your base PS5 that launched 5 years ago, almost 6 years by the time this thing launched, at $400 comes with a controller, a really good controller too. Like the PS5 controller is arguably one of the best controllers ever made. And it's able to play all your games, your Call of Duties, your Battlefields, your Overwatches, like all of those games, bro. Your Fortnites, like all of them joints. This may not play all of your games. Like if this anything like the Steam Deck, like you can't play certain AAA shooters, multiplayer games. You can't play certain AAA. You can't, but you won't be able to play Call of Duty. If this anything like the Steam Deck, you won't be able to play Call of Duty on this. You won't, which is one of the most popular games out. You won't be able to play Battlefield on this, which is one of the most popular games out. You know what I mean? So like, and there's some other ones that I can't think of at the moment, but there are some multiplayer games you won't be able to play on that. So not only will this be about the same as powerful as a PlayStation 5, but you're not going to get a controller. You're not going to be able to play all of the games. And it's going to be almost double the price. Like, and rumors is going to be damn near double the price, $600, $700, than a base PS5 that launched almost 6 years ago. That's DOA in my mind, bro. That is dead on arrival in my mind. Like, I don't see why people would pick this up over like an Xbox and PlayStation. Now, granted, there are some things that it could do because technically it is a PSC, a PC. Technically, it is a PC. So you will be able to download stuff like maybe Windows, and that will allow you to play games like Call of Duty and stuff like that. Not saying that you can't play Call of Duty and anything on this game, but launch out the box, you won't be able to play Call of Duty. You'll have to do a lot of workarounds in order to play stuff like Call of Duty, Battlefield, and stuff like that. Certain Blizzard games, if I'm not mistaken, certain multiplayer games, you would have to do a lot of workaround. And yes, you will have access to like desktop mode and stuff like that. It's Linux, so it's a lot of stuff you would have to learn. In Linux is it's different from Windows, but yeah, you can do all of that stuff. But at the same time, like it's something that's launching 6 years after a PlayStation console. So like that's why I even give it like 500, because right now I think the base PS5 that launched five years ago is up to like $500 right now because of inflation and tax and tariffs and all that shit. So that's why I give it like, all right, $500. You know what I mean? Um, but even with the PlayStation, like the PlayStation has sales that like right now, if I'm not mistaken, because of the Black Friday, PlayStation 5 is on sale for like $399. Now I'm not gonna pay for that. I'm not gonna buy the PlayStation 5 because $399 is just the launch price. Like they're making it seem like it's on sale, but no, you just put it back at the launch price. You know what I mean? And calling it a sale. So like you're not gonna fool me with that shit. But this this is wild. Like this is for like honestly speaking, if Valve really want this to sell, if they really want this in people's houses, sell it at $400, $399. $399. Think about it, like even its own Steam Deck. Think about the Steam Deck. Right now, you have the Steam Deck LCD, right? That's $399. Granted, this is 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck LCD, but let me tell you something that the Steam Deck LCD has that this doesn't. One, the Steam Deck LCD has a screen. Mind you, this is just a box. You still have to plug it up to a screen. Granted, everybody has a screen at their crib. That's not going to be a big deal. The other thing that the Steam Deck has is a controller. Like the Steam Deck comes with its controller built into the deck so you can play. This doesn't have that either. You would have to buy a controller separate if you don't already have some sort of controller. Now, granted, everybody right at this point either has some sort of gaming controller or keyboard and mouse, which you can hook up to that. But the point is, for $400, $399, the Steam Deck comes with a screen and a controller. The only thing that this touts over the Steam Deck is that it's 6 times stronger. That's the only thing that it touts. And the Steam Deck LCD also gets sales. It also gets sales. Right now, I think it's on sale for $300 or something like that. I think the Steam Deck right now is on sale for like $300. Give me 1 second to check that real quick. Yeah, $319. The Steam Deck is LCD is actually on sale for $319. So even the Steam Deck can get sales that gets you to about $300. And again, it comes with the screen and it comes with a controller built into it. Whereas the Steam Machine isn't giving you any of that. The Steam Machine isn't giving you any of that. And the only thing it touts over the Steam Deck is that it's 6 times stronger. Like it has the same OS as the Steam Deck. It could play the same games for the most part as the Steam Deck. It might play more games because the Steam Deck is struggling to run certain games. But for the most part, the Steam Deck could run a lot of games. Like it may not run it well. The only thing this is gonna do is it's gonna run the Steam Deck games better. That's all it's going to do. You can't sell this for no six, seven, $800. No way. This can't be more than $499. This can't be more than 400. Let's learn more about the Steam Machine, bro. Let's go ahead and learn more about the Steam Machine. So your Steam library in more places with over 6 times the horsepower of Steam Deck, Steam Machine has the power to play your whole Steam library, including your favorite AAA titles. Just sign in with your Steam account, and your entire library is there. Now they're showing a bunch of games. All these games, for the most part, could run on the Steam Deck. It may not run great, but for the most part, all these games run on the Steam Deck. So, and again, only thing it's touting that is 6 times more powerful. Core features that define Steam Machine, Steam OS, Steam Deck has that, and OS optimized for gaming with fast suspend, resume, and cloud saves, and that's just the start. Small form factor. Put it under your TV, set it on your desk, hide it under a banana. It's powerful. It's powerful PC gaming packed in a roughly 6-inch cube. I like the fact that it is small, cool and quiet. Steam Machine keeps cool and runs whisper quiet, even while running the most demanding games. It's whatever. I know most people don't like a loud console or whatever, but it's whatever. I/O for days. Ready for all your peripherals and monitors you can throw at it. 1 GB Ethernet display, 1.4 HDMI 2.0. It's not even 2.1. One USB-C and 4 USB-A ports. CPU and GPU, 4K gaming at 60 frames per second with FSR. So it's not even really a 4K gaming machine. Yes, it will be able to play certain games at 4K, but it's not really a 4K gaming machine. There's going to be a lot of games that you're going to have to use FSR to get it to 4K 60. And FSR, if you're talking about the new generation of FSR, it's actually really good. But it's not using that FSR. It's using FSR 3, which is not great. Thanks to a discrete semi-custom AMD desktop class CPU and GPU. It's available in 2 storage sizes, 512 and 2 TB. Both come with expandable storage via micro SD. Now I do like that. The Steam Deck has something like that where I think the $400 is only 256 gigs, but you can expand it with a micro SD. I do like the fact that you can expand it with the micro SD. I do like that it does have 2 storage sizes. They have the 500 GB and then the 2 TB. Obviously, the 2 TB is going to be a lot more expensive, or it's going to be more expensive. But I'm praying that Valve launches the 512 GB as an entry level point at $499. And then if they want to sell the 2 TB one for $700-$800, it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But Get that 512 gigabyte one at $499, Valve. Connectivity, Wi-Fi 6E plus Bluetooth with 5.3. Steam controller wireless adapter is built right into the Steam Machine for direct pairing. No giant brick. Steam Machine power supply is built right in. There's an LED strip optimized for gaming. It runs Steam OS. Steam Machine runs Valve's gaming first operating system. Steam OS is designed to provide a plug and play user experience while keeping the power of the flexibility of a PC experience. Steam OS in the same way as other Steam hardware like Steam Deck and Steam Frame. Now, the Steam they're pitching this as some sort of gaming PC. They're pitching it as a gaming PC for the most part. So but here it is right here. Steam Machine verified. Now, if you ever use the Steam Deck has Steam Deck verified games. Now, what they're saying here is we are expanding our verified program to include rating for Steam machines so customers can understand how their games will run. So, that right there is telling you not every game is going to run on this Steam machine. If they have to do this verified check, it's because not every game is going to run on this machine, and not every game is going to run well on this machine. That's the same thing with the Steam Deck. Like the Steam Deck has your Steam Deck verified stuff, which games run and boot up with no problem, and they run very well for the most part. And then they got the games that boot up and they run, and then you got the games that are just not supported at all, like your Call of Duties and your Battlefield, which won't even boot up. That's going to be the same case for this Steam machine, especially if it has some sort of verification system. See, with something like a PlayStation and an Xbox, you don't have that. Those games are built for those particular systems, and they run. Like every game on the PlayStation library will run on your PlayStation. Every game on your Xbox library will run on your Xbox. That may not be the case with this. So not only is you paying for something that runs as well as other machines that came out almost 6 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, but you're gonna be paying more for it. Like that's the thing that's crazy. Like I'm hearing all these people talk about like this can't be more than $500. It can't be. If Valve is smart, they will launch this at like $499, at least the 512 gigabyte model, and it's a PC. Yes, machine is optimized for gaming, but it's still a PC. Install your own apps or even other operating systems. Who are we to tell you how to use your computer? Now that the other thing with that, like the thing I have with that is like, what's up with the antivirus software with this? So you mean to tell me I'm getting something as powerful as a base PS5, and then I can download something now to give my joint some sort of malware? You know what I mean? Especially if I'm spending six, seven, $800. Is there any sort of anti-malware or anti-virus thing built into like the Steam machine that we know of? Because that'd be crazy. You spend $800, you start downloading like apps and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden your joint catch a virus. Like you'll be pissed. You can't really do stuff like that with the Xbox and the PlayStation. Like it's very rare. I've almost never heard of a situation where somebody's like PlayStation or Xbox caught like a virus or something like that. That's possible with the Steam machine. Granted, do I think most people are gonna that's gonna be most people's situation? No, because I think for the most part, people are just gonna use it as a gaming console. But just the thought of it, like, it's crazy. So a machine plays well wherever Steam is. Made for Steam is just talking about some of the other stuff that Steam's coming out with. And then they got the hardware. So this is kind of what it looks like. So you have the USB 3A, USB 3A, the micro SD slot, the indicator LED, the power button, and then on the back you have the display port, HDMI, the AC power connector, and the Ethernet ports, as well as two more USB and a USB-C port too. Uh, then you have what is basically running. The CPU is a Semi AMD Zen 4 up to 4.8 gigabytes. It has a really good CPU. I will say that. And a lot of these games that have been coming out is very CPU dependent. So the CPU is definitely going to be able to keep up with a lot of the games. Now the GPU is the problem. Semi-custom AMD RDNA 3. I wish they had used RDNA 4, but it's 28 CUs with a 2.45 gigahertz max sustained clock. Now, I wish they used RDNA 4 because RDNA 4 has machine learning and it has access to FSR 4, which is a way better upscaler than FSR 3. RDNA 3, unfortunately, I don't think it has AI upscaling or AI supporter at all, and it has the FSR 3 upscaling, which isn't as good. And with the 28 CUs, a lot of people are saying that it's closer to what, like a 7600, which is that's effectively a 1080p gaming GPU. Like it's basically a 1080p gaming GPU for the most part. So the RAM isn't bad. It actually has pretty good RAM, although 8 gigabytes. I mean, for 1080p gaming GPU, I mean that's fine, I guess. Like the upscaling is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, unfortunately. Like the FSR 3, and that's why I wish it was Zen RDNA 4, because like if the FSR is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, you want FSR 4 for that. Like FSR 3, granted, is more widespread than FSR 4, but FSR 3 is nowhere near as good visually. In terms of frame rates, it is better, I think, than FSR 4, but that's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. And then it's stuff that we kind of know. So in terms of the displays we can connect it to, we can connect it up to 4K at 240 hertz or even 8K 60 hertz. So it does support HDR and FreeSync and daisy chaining. I think that means you can hook up more than one monitor to it. Via the HDMI, you can do up to 4K 120, supports HDR, FreeSync, and CEC. And yeah, that's basically it. So I am curious to know what you guys think. What y'all think is the price? What's the price of this Steam machine going to be? Like again, like I pray it launches at like $400. Like let Valve surprise and shock everybody and just drop this $400. Boom, immediate purchase. Not even a thought. Like there's gonna be so many people that buy this at $400. $500, you're still gonna get a lot of people. You're still gonna get a lot of people that buy this. Anything over $500, now you're getting into territories where people are going to be like, yo, is this even worth it? Because you also got to factor into the fact that consider that it's launching 2026. Now, reports are saying the PS5 and the next Xbox is launching 2028. So in 2 more years, there's going to be consoles that launch that are going to be way more powerful than the Steam Deck. The Steam machine, way more powerful, especially if this Steam machine is as powerful as a base PS5 that launched almost 6 years ago. Like when the PS6 drops or the Xbox Series whatever drops, Series Next drops, it's going to be way more powerful than the Steam Deck. Now that doesn't mean the Steam machine is just going to be obsolete. Because it's not. It's a PC. So you'll be able to scale your games. So games that are running on a PS6 and Xbox Series Next will still, for the most part, be able to run on this machine. It may not run as good. You may be now running those games at 1080p 60 or maybe 1080p 30, but they will still run. They just won't run as great. But that's... Whew, 1080p 30 in 2028, 2029. Wow, that's you know what I mean? Like that's rough, bro. That'll be rough. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the Steam machine. Do you like it? Do you think it's worth the purchase? How much are you willing to pay for the Steam machine? I am curious. Let me know in the comments below.
To them young boys in the hood with big dreams of being superstars. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't, but you gotta work super hard. To the older man who feels his life is over cause he wasted it standing on corners. One thing I learned about the streets, it's never too late for a come up. I was told before that I couldn't do it. I remember being told by my own peeps not to rap, and singing in my hood wasn't popular, but I got respect for it cause I was a beast. Facts. If you got a dream, you gotta stay committed, you can get it, but you gotta be a beast, you can't slack for a minute. Remember this, if you remember nothing else, you gotta be relentless.